Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Chrono Trigger. In the last part we tackled the Black Omen and took out Queen Zeal once and for all. And now, it's time for Lavos. Sorry for the cliffhanger last part, but I'm a dick. Lavos enters attack mode. And this part of the fight is weird.
It's a boss rush, but not.
Yeah, it's basically a boss rush. We're gonna be the Lavos and his two little buddies there redo prior boss fights. Like there's the dragon tank, here's the guardian, so on and so forth. You're gonna be refighting a lot of former boss fights essentially. But what you essentially have to do here is just kill them. They have the exact same stats, exact same patterns. It's basically here to kind of be, I guess, a kind of how far have we come sort of deal, because we can kill everything so quickly. And I do like that you get to change your party in between fights, because you can access the inventory and such.
I also love how the head just popped right off the body.
Yeah. Also, I should mention, at this point in the recording at least, I have not done the revisits to the, what's it called? Black Omen yet, because I don't get to do that until after I do this boss rush kind of thing.
Yeah, the boss rush is part of the thing.
Yeah.
There's a gate.
You're required to do this.
Like, there's a gate inside Lavos that will take you back to the end
we'll
of time.
see that eventually. I should say, though, I believe this phase of Lavos is technically optional. I've heard, I'm not entirely certain of this, that if you take the Epoch to 1999, you'll fly the Epoch into Lavos and just be able to skip this phase entirely.
But the epic becomes unusable as a result.
Yeah, thus you cannot time travel anymore, aside from, I guess, using the gates.
So
Which sucks.
So it's much better to just go through the fight since it's just so easy.
Yeah. Not a fan of the boss rush idea, but I can admire why they did it. Though it makes this fight seem kind of easy in comparison because you're taking out things that were very lethal earlier on in like one attack. He does go through a good variety of bosses though. Though I have to wonder, how does he have the Guardian in that amount? Because Lavos does the thing already by the time that the Guardian is created. At least I would assume as much, unless it was created like in 1998. But yeah, this phase is really boring. Not a fan of it. So now we just have to kind of talk about things unrelated, I guess, for like the next minute or so. I forget how long this fast forward took. So how's school going? Same here. Life in general? Same. Video games? Same. One more thing. Thankfully, you can tell when you're getting towards the end of this boss rush just based off the bosses he's being. Because now he's Giga Mutant. Or not Giga Mutant. Forgetting the guy's name.
Giga something. You were close.
Giga Giant. Giga G.
Giga Gaia.
Giga Gaia, there we go. And now he's done. Now, the actual fight begins, but you do get one last time to take out your party. So I figured let's finish this off with Marl Frog and Chrono just so they can get some screen time before we actually end off the game.
It's time to fight the giant alien Porcupine from the outside. The 10,000 HP or 30,000 HP can use Chaos Zone. Massive damage doer.
Yeah, that's basically it. And if you're wondering why I put 30,000 HP down, it's because you actually can defeat Lavos back on the Undersea Palace when he kills Chrono. It's just the fact you need to have endgame levels and stats to do so. New Game Plus is why that's there. In terms of attacks he actually has, though, he has Chaos Zone, which you can use to Chaos you, obviously. He has the Brain Destruction, which is the thing he did on me earlier, which does a lot of damage. He has Lavos Needle as well, which basically is the thing that I think the Lavos Spawn has. And then he has Earthquake. A lot of higher damaging attacks, but really, it's nothing too troublesome. It is very easy to do this fight, well, possible at least, to do this fight back in the Ocean Palace, just the fact that I couldn't because I was too underleveled. What's your general strategy for this can?
Luminaire, Frog Flare, or double V Bomb if I can get the placing correct.
I generally, I actually have a few different strategies. Obviously, I do what I have here with this party, but if I have Magus, Robo, and Luca, I use Uzi Punch, Shock, Dark Matter, or Flare, and that's about it. Ayla, honestly, is not useful in this fight at all. It's one of the few fights at this point in the game that she's not useful in. But the way I look at it, she got her love last part. It's time for everyone else to get some. Gotta admit this guy, though, has a good amount of HP. Also, fun fact, his outer appearance is actually based off a creature of French mythology. Like the Paluda, I think it's called. And he's gone. But it's not over yet. But the thing we've seen this entire game is only an outward shell. So now we enter Lavos. And there's a save point and a gate in here. This gate, actually, where does this gate take you? To the,
Anytime, to the bucket.
To the bucket, okay. So now you can actually enter that anytime. You don't have to refight the boss fight at all. However, it's in that save point that first time I healed up. And I go into this gate in order to do the 2 revisits to the Black Omen. Did some good stealing, but you know what? I'm feeling like going home. It's been a long day. Who needs to save the world? Nah, it's a rainy day out there, it looks like.
You've killed everyone.
Essentially, what I'm showing off here is, I forget exactly how you trigger this. I think you need to die to the Lavos fight. You get a special game over screen.
I wish we could have visited the time like a year before this.
Yeah, I would have liked to see what the world would have been like. The things they could have done with like NPCs and such. Or even like precursors to the Mother Brain incident with Robo. Like seeing her slowly start to figure out that humanity's not worth it. That scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Okay, I'll go save the world. Gosh, you're such a dick, game. That is what happens, though, I think, when you get a game over, isn't it?
In certain situations, I think it's once you figure out Lavos.
It's either when you get a game over during a Lavos fight or otherwise. But yeah, now I go and do the Black Omen revisits. 612,000 when I do them. Need to get those extra items, and so on and so forth. So onwards to adventure! This is a long fade to black.
What did you do?
Oh no, you know what? I think this is me explaining what I had to do, what I was doing. I sometimes overestimate how long it takes me to talk about stuff, but now we're back in Lavos for me to show off my final party and their stats. Got Magus with the sunshades, Luca with the amulet, Robo with the prison specs. And just to show what everyone else is looking like at this point. As I mentioned before, any stars you see means that stat is maxed out. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's go finish this war off once and for all. What
Ew,
the
what is
hell?
this?
Oh. Hi. Hi, Cell. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Lavos once again, the real one that's been inside the entire time. Essentially, as Robo is going us over with now, Lavos crashed on the planet and has slowly been absorbing the DNA of every creature that's been born on the planet ever since he landed. He's essentially been watching us evolve and directing us in which directions to go. He's the reason humans are the way they are. And because of that, we're now able to fight him because he's an idiot. Lavos is split up into 3 parts. Lavos, left arm and right arm. The core, which is the thing you need to kill, the one in the middle, has 20,000 HP, 255 defense, 100 magic defense, deals mass damage, can poison and chaos you, and it can raise his own attack.
Deals max damage?
Mass.
Oh, mass damage. The left arm has 12,000 HP, revives the body, and voids immunities and can stop.
And then the right hand, right arm, has 8,000 HP, revives body, voids immunities, and can put you in, can stop you as well. In terms of the attack, the core thing here actually has Fire Dance, Dark Will, which is the Chaos, Dark Embrace, which is the poison, Flames of War, Evil Emanation, which raises attack, and Dark Flames Embrace, which does just a lot of damage. My general strategy for this fight is to, where is it? Dark Matter and Flare while Robo heals the first phase. Double Bomb to destroy the left arm quickly, which is why I have Robo where he is, and then deal with the other arm as quickly as you can, using like Dark Matter or whatever items you have. Once the arms are gone, you're going to want to go all out however you wish. I do recommend using a barrier on Robo at the start of the fight, though, just so you can make sure he has that extra magic defense. Because otherwise...
Even after the ribbon?
Yes, because you want it to be max for this fight, because this guy does a lot of good magical attacks. After that, Dark Matter, Flare, Shock, cycle around with a Double Bomb when you can. Go all out with single techs and use a Mega Elixir whenever you can if you need it. Not a very... Oh, no, it can be a very hard final boss, but if you know the right strategy, you can take out the parts more quickly than it can deal damage to you.
Yeah, my strategy is generally the same.
I love the detail in this guy's sprite, though. It looks so good.
I can't imagine how long this would have taken to make.
Well, I can't figure out how much of it is sprite, how much of it is background, because I won't be surprised if this game did something similar to Final Fantasy VI, where like with the early phases of Kefka, they were actually part of the background, not actual sprites. But they look like they're actually sprites, so I can't quite tell. Also, I think the song only ever plays here, but I love this song.
Only here, sadly.
There's not many songs where I'm like, I need to finish this, let's finish this off and save the world. We are heroes, and this is one of the ones where I'm like, yes. That was poorly explained because I'm not good at explaining a lot of musical stuff, but it's just it's heroic sounding. That's what it is.
There's not really an easy way for me to describe it exactly.
All I know is that it gets you in the mood to fight the final boss, and that's what's really effective about it. 20,000 HP, so with good luck and knowing what attacks to use, that's about maybe 10 turns, roughly. But you do have to worry about the other arms, because you do need to get rid of the arms, because they do heal the body. That's the reason you need to get rid of them first. In fact, I think before you actually take out the arms, this guy also has max defense, so you need to in order to actually deal damage to him. I do wonder if this game ever gets like a 3D remake, what this guy would end up looking like, though, because first off, will they even keep the Akira Toriyama art style?
Ugh.
It's kind of iconic.
You should have used like iconic attacks like X Strike and Robo Tackle. I would honestly try and fight him by doing that.
I wanted to, I really did, but with the way I know this boss fight, the strategy I use is my preference because it takes him out in a good amount of time, but also gives me good ample opportunities to heal if needed. And plus, how much damage would X Strike even do at this point in the game? Probably not enough.
Probably not a lot, yeah.
Did we do it?
Lavos is dead?
What?
Oh god, no.
Hi there.
Hello, are you friendly?
You look friendly.
Do you want to hug?
And now Luke is going over what I said earlier. It's the combination of everything that's ever existed on our planets, and it's basically just doing a life cycle. The spawn, we're going to go off to other planets and do the exact same thing. which is kind of a random time to have this little plot dump about the thing. Attack value is... Oh. You could have done the reference. But essentially, Lavos, we were farm animals to him. So let's finish this off. Final boss of the game, ladies and gentlemen, is Lavos and his 2 pods. The Lavos pod, which is the one on the far left, has 2,000 HP, absorbs any elements thrown at you, and it voids immunities, heals itself and the other parts, and absorbs MP.
The second Lavos pod, which is the one in the middle actually, has 2,000 HP, absorbs elements, voids immunities, and heals for a good chunk, and absorbs MP.
Did I accidentally give you the same thing that I did? I may have accidentally done that. I did, yeah, I did. The thing in the middle has 10,000 HP. Oh, I'm sorry. It can inflict random statuses on you, it can have your HP, and it has some really powerful attacks. It can just do a lot of large damage. And the Lavos core, the one on the far right, weirdly enough, has 30,000 HP,
255 defense,
100 magic defense,
and revives other pods.
In order to lower its defense, you need to get rid of the left and middle pods. My best strategy, Uzi punch the left bit until it dies, then focus the best single text on the one in the middle until it dies. Eventually, the right one will, the core will revive the other bits, but its defense will still be lowered as well. So once you get rid of the bits the first time, just focus all your efforts as much as you can on the core. Otherwise, this could be a pretty annoying fight. You do want to redo the buffs, though, because I do believe it can undo them. So, Barrier and Shield, who needs them, and hopefully it'll do well enough. Also, I do not get the purpose of Time Warp. Or Time Warp. Because they show various backgrounds from the game, for some reason.
It's something that can be counterattacked.
Huh. Lavos is a final boss. First off, I love this theme to death. I can't quite, there's something epic about it. Though this background, this background caused the video file size to increase. You saw nothing.
So he liked the theme so much that he had to turn up the volume to 100.
Yeah, I had to edit that out because of professionalism, but I essentially, my volume counter showed up on screen because I was upping the volume. My bad. I'm always down to miss at least 1 or 2 things in an LP. At this point, though, just focus on the core and it should go down with enough time. 30,000 HP, so that is a lot.
So, where is this being fought?
I just assumed in the flow of time itself. Because we go all over the place here. What's your general strategy?
You're not using double V-bomb? Oh, wait, yeah, you are. Good.
Because it just does a good amount of damage. Double bomb's really good against this face. It takes like a 1/6 of its HP.
Also, Isla can be very useful in this fight if she's at a max level.
Yeah, I do her up critical rate, where she can do like quad 9s. 3 shots, the guy's dead. Well, 4 technically. Lavos is the hardest thing the game has to offer aside from new Specchio. But if you know the right strategies, it's not that bad. I think Final Fantasy IV honestly had a much harder final boss for that point in the game. And even, like I said earlier, even though it revived the bits, the defense is still down, so make sure you still go all out. I think I do take my time to take out the bits, possibly just because I wanted to be as safe as possible. But you should be fine at this point. If you've made it this far, you've faced the hardest the game has to offer, you should be fine.
Dead.
And it's over.
The game has ended.
Though you might be wondering if you look at the timestamp, there's still about... Don't interrupt me, bitch. Why was the bit there?
Yikes.
Oh god, was it actually all a dream?
I knew this would happen!
No.
Wow, that was one heck of a dream, though.
Yeah. Mind you, we've all... Well,
Wait, what?
this is different. A soldier from Guardia?
We have a little surprise for you.
Oh, right. Our execution was kind of delayed. Well, this is a dark way to end the game.
Wow.
Your Majesty, please don't cut off my head. How about you just take my hair? It's half my identity anyway. Yeah, we've been a perfect gentleman. Thankfully, the chance was back to normal, but... yeah, we kind of have screwed up the kingdom in some forms, haven't we? Wait, what?
What?
How would he... Go on?
Boy!
How are you... Guardia the other one?
What?
How? Kino!
Boy.
How are you all here? Oh. Luca, you tricksy.
Why were you hiding behind the throne?
Because she had to make the dramatic reveal.
That's fair.
I guess it takes proof to be able to believe that we've been kind of time traveling, hasn't it? And they actually reveal something here. These are all relatives of Marl. Doan's her descendant, Kino's her ancestor. And you may have been actually able to notice that earlier by Ayla, the blonde girl, being the leader. Ayla's her ancestor. So, our state of execution's been canceled, and so is our execution in general, and we're going to be able to stay around for the rest of the fair. And I love this ending sequence. Oh god, we're getting abducted by aliens.
Guardia's back to normal. When was it ever not normal, though?
Well, even then, the normal for them now is different from the normal for us, because they now have like a court system, there's a forest down south. Things have entirely changed. In fact, the ending, the FMV ending that the PlayStation version gets that I absolutely hate, goes on to prove that. Ugh. But I'll get to that when I eventually get to Chrono Cross, because that FMV ending is stupidly canon. I do like this ending, though. There's something very satisfying about it, because it's kind of like a book ending, honestly.
Happily ever after?
Happily ever after, and it's ending in a very similar way to the way it began at the fair. In fact, I kind of wish that the way the game ended was Marl and Chrono had to get separated for a bit because she had one last thing to do, and they run into each other at the bell.
That would be really cool.
Only instead of, getting separated by the fall, she lands on top of him. Oh, and hey, Laura and Taban are here. It's good to see them walking around. I do believe the NPCs in here vary depending on what side quests you did. But for me, it's like the best it can be. Everyone's nice and happy. The mom's here. How's everyone doing?
Also,
Well, those
an
poor
imp.
dancers are stuck in the circle.
It's a blue imp. There aren't any blue imps here. There are only green imps.
No, there's blue imps down in Medina. Oh god, dancers exploding out of nowhere. Gato, help me. Oh no, Gato's blocked off. My silver points. What about my drinking game? No.
Cry.
Let's head on north to where it all began. Why is everyone here? Well, as some of you may have predicted, we've all finished our journey, but we all belong in our own time periods. Before the gates all closed thanks to the fact that we defeated Lavos. Everyone has to go back to their time and live out the lives, otherwise history would be completely altered. And I love this scene. because it gives closure. That's what it is. It gives closure and kind of an ending to each character's kind of individual plot line. Make sure to have a lot of kids, Ayla. We kind of count on that. Frog's off to be his own man. And one thing I actually will mention later on is that we get a bit more closure on his plotline in that FMV ending I was talking about. Ah, Princess and the Frog.
Why didn't he change back to human form? That would have been cool to see.
But that's one thing I never figured out. Magus, why didn't you lift that spell? You could have done that, no problem, dude. And he's off to be his own stoic self. Gotta look for Scala. We never get any resolution on that line.
You don't?
Never. There is some extent to it in that Super Nintendo Choose Your Own Adventure game, Radical Dreamers, that is kind of a pseudo-sequel to this and a prequel to Chrono Cross.
This is the saddest one for me right here.
Yeah. Oh, easily. Honestly, Luca and Robo are probably the most interesting dynamic in the game because it's just adorable. It's like father-daughter, brother-sister kind of shit. And because, as she's pointing out, Robo was created after 1999, after the apocalypse. So since we defeated Lavos, Dowan will probably be there, but he'll probably be all nice and healthy, but Robo might not exist. Out of everyone that's been in our journey, he'll probably be the only one that never, even if he does exist, never remembers us. And that just tears my heart apart. Because, as you probably figured out, he's basically my favorite character in the entire game. So seeing him leak oil because he's crying makes me... Robo! And this song gets me every time, too. But that's it. Everyone's gone. It's just the three of us, the way it began.
The entity is finally at rest.
They never quite explain who the entity is in either game. It's hinted that it's possibly a god, possibly that it's the creator of humanity, the creator of Lavos, or even the player. Hey, my cats!
Oh my god!
Hey guys, how you doing? You're all so cute. Hey mom, how you doing? I've been feeding them a lot. Haven't you seen how they multiply? No, my cats, come back! It is hinted, by the way, that the cats have been showing up in all the late game stuff, like in the Giant's Claw, all those cats. Ah, shit. Well, I guess we got one last time travel in us. After all, we still have the Epoch at least. You know, it's hinted that they're actually gonna dismantle the Epoch later on. So we need to kind of go and get that done so we can rescue our mother. Because who knows what her being in the past or future could do to the timeline. Oh, hey, King. A gift? Actually, now that he mentions it, where's the bell? Oh, they had a new one. Let me guess. Nadia's... Yeah. God, you're such a hokey king. But you got jumps, apparently. Sorry to leave you hanging, King, but we have one last thing to do. Hi, Taban. And this, by the way,
this is my favorite song in the whole game right here.
Oh, I love this song to death. Yeah, Taban, I want to help you, your king. And this part of the ending only really happens if you have the Sunstone. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's Chrono Trigger. Oh, God, what a game. I have to say, I like it better than I used to when I was younger, but I still have some minor issues with it. I love the soundtrack, I love the story, but I think the gameplay lacks a bit of its own identity, because the way I look at it, say this game was either never called Chrono Trigger, or at least was not called Chrono Trigger in the States. Say if it was called, like, Final Fantasy IV. Would we have noticed?
Maybe.
I honestly don't think so. It's very Final Fantasy-like, which I can respect. But the fact that its gameplay is just a bit too similar to Square's main series, it kind of loses some points in my eyes for that. That's why one of the main reasons I actually like Chrono Cross better than Chrono Trigger, because it's an entirely unique system. However, I still think that this game is a masterpiece. It's one of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo, one of my brother's favorite games of all time, and it's overall regarded as one of the best RPGs of all history. Up there with Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VI, so on and so forth.
I think I don't like the battle system a lot, like as you were saying, but I think the story and the development of the characters is just
Incredible.
Yeah, it was so fantastic.
I can completely agree. I do think that if you're an RPG fan, or if you want to get into RPGs in general, this is just a fantastic game. If you want to play it, it's on the Super Nintendo, the PlayStation, which is the port I recommend the least, because load times. The Nintendo DS, which is the one I recommend the most, because it's retranslated. Sadly, some of the charming lines are gone, but it's faster and it feels so much smoother to play. I think mobile in Japan, iOS, and Android. Next up, in terms of RPGs with Kenny, though, I think next up is probably Final Fantasy 3. Yeah, it is, actually.
3. That's going to be in the winter, probably.
Yeah, and at least for us. And that's going to be the NES version, not the DS version. And in terms of RPGs, next up for me, in general, I'm thinking something on the Game Boy Advance, like maybe Robopon or something. But honestly, I just cannot recommend that you guys go out and play this game enough, because it's one of the most overplayed RPGs in history for a reason. People love it. It's a legitimately fantastic game. I know people who have gotten into game development because of this game. And I just cannot say in enough words that it's just such a fantastic play.
I want to create a game like this one day, or at least make a soundtrack for it. And if you're down for helping with the design of that, we can all get together with Wheat Bread. We can do some great things.
Yeah, that'd be very interesting.
And maybe Noah too, because he's been into that kind of thing too.
Though I find this part kind of redundant, the fact that there's a second credit sequence that's nowhere near as interesting to look at. Do I think there's better RPGs on the system for the Super Nintendo? Personally, yes, because my favorite RPG of all time is Final Fantasy IV. But I think this might be probably the best out of all the Super Nintendo ones in terms of accessibility, soundtrack, storyline, and just overall feel, because it's just that charming of a game.
Chrono Trigger, it's weird for me to be saying this because I praise Final Fantasy VI so much for its soundtrack, but I think I like Chrono Trigger's a little bit more.
I don't think I've ever heard a soundtrack like this in any other game. I can't exactly place my finger on what it is about it, but there's just something about the feel that it encourages that is unique. In fact, that basically summarizes this game as a whole. It's entirely unique, aside from its gameplay system. But with that,
you know.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. That's a weird thing to end off on. Holy shit. But with that, ladies and gentlemen,
that was kind of my fault.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining me once again on this great ride, Kenny.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm sorry about all these time constraints we've had over the past few
It's no problem, because we all have our own lives. Because for those wondering, in terms of scale of how long this LP took, the first part of this game's footage was recorded July 6th, 2016. The first part of audio for us was recorded July 23rd, 2016. It is currently September 25th, 2016. Not as long as, say, Final Fantasy 1 took me, but this has been a long time coming, and I think, honestly, this is probably the best LP that we've done together out of all of them so far.
Without a doubt.
I'm really proud of this. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great night. Take care. Next up for me on my own, I honestly don't remember what's up next. Just look forward to it, because I think it was pretty good, I think. I can't quite remember. Have a great night, and take care, everyone.
Goodbye.